Welcome, Algebra 2 students, to the Homework Up video, page 41. Let's go ahead and get started with today's problems. And that's not what I want. Let's fix that real quick here. And there we go. Alright, the directions say for numbers 7 through 10 to write an inequality for the verbal sentence. So here we go. X is less than 9. So X is less than 9. Okay? So number 7, 8, 9, and 10. I know that we did not cover these in your notes, but just a little practice. I'm sure you've had this somewhere along the way. X is less than 9. Alright, number 8. 18 is less than or equal to A. So 18 is less than or equal to A. And there we go. Number 9. X is greater than 4, and that word right there is important. And means we have a conjunction, okay? So X is greater than 4 and less than 6, okay? Now here's the best way to write a conjunction. Look at your two numbers right here and write the smallest one. Write the smallest one to the left and the largest one to the right. Always, okay? Then put an X right here in the middle, alright? And then always point the arrow to the left. There we go. Now, if it would have said X is greater than or equal to, then you would put a line right here. And if it would have said less than or equal to, you would put a line right here. Okay? There we go. So let's go over this again. As soon as you saw the word and, you knew you had a conjunction. Okay? So you put your smaller number to the left, your larger number to the right, your X in the middle, then always point your arrows to the left, and that's it. Pretty simple, okay? Okay, moving on to number 10. Number 10. Now in number 10, I see, excuse me, y is greater than or equal to -5 and less than 0. So once again, and let's go back a page real quick. I didn't pull the answer off, did I? There we go. All right, moving on. Now, I see the word and. So I know I have, once again, a conjunction, okay? So here we go. Put your smallest number to the left, your larger number to the right, and in this problem you're dealing with y, not x, so put y in the middle, okay? And then your arrows always point to the left, as long as you have your smaller number to the left and your greater number to the right. Now let's pause and see if we need to put any equal signs like this under the arrows, okay? Y is greater than or equal to -5. So we put a line here. And less than 0. No line here. Okay? So I hope that helps. That's how you write conjunctions. Smallest number always to the left. Larger number always to the right. And the variable in the middle. Your arrows always point to the left. Okay, moving on to numbers 11 through 14. Now the directions for 11 through 14 say to match the inequality with its graph. So let's start off with number 11. X is greater than or equal to 4. Well, let's see. This graph here is at 4 going to the left. This graph here is at 4 going to the right. Do you see that right here? Look in your books box and you'll see that, okay? Also, it's shaded in. It's colored in, and that's good because we have an equal sign here. So number 11 doesn't go with letter C. All right, let's cross that off. Now number 12. Okay, this is or. It's a disjunction, so you're looking for a graph that goes one direction to the left and the other direction to the right. So here we go. Let's see what we have here. Looks like letter B would be the one because x is greater than 4 or equal to. So we have it colored in, going to the right. And then x is less than -4. It's not colored in, which is good. And going to the left, less than 4. So number 12 would be B. Okay? Alright, moving on to number 13. Now this is a conjunction, so we're looking for a graph that comes together like this. This direction and this direction. So we have this area right here. Well, that looks like letter D. We have open point here, open point here, and then all in between here is shaded. So let's see if that fits. Number 13, x is, now read it from the x. Start with the x and read it from here. X is greater than -4. That's right, we're going to the right of -4. And it's less than 4. That's right, we're going this way. It's greater than -4. And it's less than 4. So they're going to connect right here. And there's your area. So letter D is definitely the answer for number 13. Letter D. So lastly, number 14 has to be A. Let's make sure x is less than 4. Here's 4 right here. Less than, we're going this way. And notice the point is open. Okay? Alright, continuing on. To numbers 15, 17, and 19. The directions say decide whether the number is a solution of the inequality. Okay? So, the inequality is 3y minus 4 is less than 10. Now the number we're testing is 5. So everywhere there's a y, we're going to substitute 5. So 3 times 5 minus 4 less than 10. 3 times 5 is 15 minus 4 is 11. 11 is less than 10. 10. That is not true. So no, we say it is not a solution. Okay? 5 is not a solution of this inequality. Pretty simple problems here. Okay, your inequality is 7 negative n greater than or equal to 3. We're going to test 4. So where the n is, we're going to put 4. 7 negative 4 greater than or equal to 3. Well, 7 negative 4 is 3 is greater than 3. No, that's false. But notice there's an equal sign here. So it's really 3 is greater than or equal to 3, or 3 is greater than and equal to 3. Yes, that is definitely true. So yes, 4 is a solution to this inequality. Number 19, your inequality is -1. Actually, we have a compound inequality, a conjunction. There's your compound inequality. We're testing 4, okay? So we're going to put 4 in for x. -1, and then 2 times 4. I'm going to go ahead and erase that. We can see right now we're putting 4 in for x. 2 times 4 is 8. Now let's see if that's right. Start here. Is 8 greater than -1? Check. Yes. Is 8 less than or equal to 8? Yes. This number has to satisfy both of these sides, not just one, okay? For example, I could put, let's see, I could put 10 in here. 10 is definitely greater than -1, but 10 is not less than 8, then 10 would not work. When it's a conjunction, this number has to satisfy both, okay, both. So the answer would be, yes, 4 is a solution, okay? Alright, moving on to numbers 21 through 29. The directions say to solve the inequality. Now I would like us to solve the inequality and also graph it quickly on a number line, okay? So here we go. First of all, step 1, simplify both sides, nothing I can do. Step 2, eliminate fractions and decimals, nothing I can do. Step 3, move your variable terms to one side and your constant terms to the other. So I'm bring my 7 over and make it a negative 7. So I have 11 negative 7. This is gone, which would give me 4. Now, simplify both sides, nothing I can do. Divide both sides by 6. And t is greater than 2/3. Now, you're welcome to put 2/3. You're welcome to put 0.6 repeating, but you are not welcome to put 4/6. If you're going to put a fraction, make sure it's reduced. Now, let's graph this. T is greater than 2/3. It's so easy, guys. Put a 0, put a line, put 2/3, put a point. Now, this point will be open because there's no equal sign here. And we go to the right. Okay, pretty easy. Number 22. Step 1, simplify both sides. Nothing I can do. Step 2, eliminate fractions. Nothing I can do. Step 3, get your variable terms on one side and your constant terms on the other. So I'm going to leave my x here. I'm going to pick up my 4, bring it over here and make it a negative 4. So I'm left with x is less than or equal to positive 19, negative 4. That's positive 15. Well, students, I'm done. There's no coefficient here to divide by, so x is less than or equal to 15. That's my answer. Now, when you go to graph this, there's no way I want you to go like this and put 15 tick marks. No way. Not at all. Just put a 0, come over here, put a 15. That's good enough. But your point, it's a closed point. Make sure you shade it in well so I can tell that it's shaded in. And we close the point because of the equal sign here. X is less than 15. So we go to the left, okay? I guess I should uncover these answers, shouldn't I, to make sure we're getting these right. Alright, moving on. Number 23. Okay, step 1, simplify both sides, nothing I can do. Step 2, eliminate fractions, nothing I can do. Step 3, get your variable terms on one side and your constant terms on the other. So I'm going to take my positive 9, bring it over here and make it a negative 9. So now I have, don't forget to bring the negative down with a k. I have negative k is less than, well, you owe me $9. You pay off 4, you owe me 5. Now, there's a negative 1 here, so we must divide both sides by a negative 1. Remember, when you're dealing with inequalities, anytime you divide the entire inequality by a negative number, you must turn the arrow. So turn the arrow. These cancel, leaving you with k. Negative 5 divided by negative 1 is positive 5. So there's your answer. K is greater than 5. Okay? Now, let's graph it. Put a 0. Put a 5. Put a point. Notice you'll leave the point open because there's no equal sign here. K is greater than 5. K is greater than 5. And there we go. Alright, let's try another one. Number 23. Number 24. Okay, I'm going to do this one a little differently, okay? Just to make you think a little bit. Alright, here we go. Step 1, and please follow my steps on this. Watch this carefully. Step 1, simplify both sides, nothing I can do. Step 2, eliminate fractions, nothing I can do. Step 3, get your variable terms on one side and your constant terms on the other. Now I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to bring the negative 2x over here and make it a positive 2x. I'm going to bring the 15 over and make it a negative 15. Okay? Leave the 3 where it is. Now, positive 3, negative 15. You owe me 15. You pay off 3. That's negative 12. Now, watch what I do next. I'm dividing by a positive 2, so you do not turn the arrow. You only turn the arrow when you're dividing by a negative number, when your bottom number is negative. So I divide both sides by 2. Now watch why I'm doing this. Here your 2's cancel, leaving you with x. Then we have a negative divided by a positive is negative. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now, they have the same answer. We have x is less than negative 6. Same thing here. But what I want to show you is a lot of students have been taught incorrectly to shade the way the arrow is pointing. Well, this arrow is pointing to the right, but we're going to shade to the left. That is not always true, okay? So keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and put a point here, put 0, put a negative 6. It's a closed point, left side, then x is less than negative 6. If the x is on the right side, you still read it starting from here, even though in life you're used to reading from left to right. When it comes to inequalities, always read it from the x. So x is less than negative 6. X is less than negative 6. Okay, number 25. Alright, here we go. Step 1, simplify both sides. Step 2, eliminate fractions. Step 3, get your variable terms on one side and your constant terms on the other. So here we go. Bring your negative h over, cross that off, and now we have 2h plus h. Bring your negative 3 over, make it a positive 3. So I have positive 6, positive 3. Okay? So positive 2, positive 1 is positive 3. Positive 6, positive 3 is positive 9. There we go. Now divide both sides by 3. We're dividing by a positive 3, so do not turn the arrow. H is greater than or equal to 3. So there's my answer. Check and make sure that's right. Now let's graph it. Put a number line, put a 0, put a 3. You close the point because it is equal to. H is greater than 3. So we go to the right. So here's all the answers over here. All of those numbers are answers. Number 26. Step 1. Simplify both sides of the equation. Step 2, eliminate fractions. Step 3, get your variable terms on one side and your constant terms on the other. Well, I'm going to bring my 3x over and make it a negative 3x. I'm going to bring my 5 over here and make it a negative 5. And notice I was very careful when I brought down this x to leave the negative sign with it, okay? That's a very common mistake that students make. Be careful. Now I have a negative 1 and a negative 3. That is a negative 4. You owe me $1. You owe me 3 more. Now you owe me 4. Here you owe me $5. Negative 5, you pay off $1, so you owe me 4, okay? Now, notice my bottom number is a negative number. I'm dividing by a negative number, so I must turn the arrow. It was pointing this way. Now it's pointing this way. Negative divided by a negative is positive. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Here these cancel, leaving you with x. X is greater than 1. Now let's see if that is a true. Let's see if that's the right answer. Yes, it is. So 0, put a 1. Your point is open because there's no equal sign here. And then x is greater than 1. So we go to the right. So the answer to this inequality is all the numbers greater than 1. Okay, number 27. Okay, so the conjunction. So let's solve this conjunction. First of all, we want to get x by itself, okay? So I've got a negative 3 I want to get rid of, so I move it to the right and I move it to the left. So now I have negative 3, positive 3 with an x left in the middle. Over here I have a positive 6 and a positive 3. So I brought the negative 3 out, became a positive 3. Brought the negative 3 out, became a positive 3. So a negative 3 and a positive 3 is 0. A positive 6 and a positive 3 is 9. So there's my answer, not too difficult. Okay? Now, let's graph this. My two critical values are 0 and 9. Both points will be closed. X is greater than 0, so I'm going this way. X is less than 9, so I'm going this way. So there we go. Or some students like to do it right here in the number line, which is fine also. Which is fine also. Okay? So the answer to this conjunction is all the numbers between 0 and 9, including 0 and 9. Okay, number 28, another conjunction. Alright, my goal is to get j all by itself in the middle, so I must get rid of the 2, and I must get rid of the 3. Well, first we're going to get rid of the 3, so we're going to move the 3 out here and make it a negative 3. Move the 3 out here and make it a negative 3. So negative 14, negative 3, and I'm left with 2j in the middle. And then out here, positive 6, negative 3. So let's simplify. You owe me 14, you owe me 3 more, that's negative 17. On the right side, you have $6, you pay off a $3 debt, and you're left with 3. Now divide everything by 2. So divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. These cancel. We're left with negative 17 over 2, less less than or equal, not equal to, j, and then 3/2. Now that should be the correct answer. The problem is it's difficult to graph this on a number line when you have improper fractions. So there's no problem with this answer. Don't change it. That's great. But when it comes time to graph it, I would use mixed numbers or decimals. Negative 17.5 is negative 8.5. Okay? So come over here, put a point. Negative 8.5. 3 over 2 is really 1.5, okay? So 1.5, so come over here, we'll put 1.5. Now, this point here is closed because I have an equal sign here. This point's open. J is greater than negative 8.5, so I go to the right. J is less than 3/2, so I go to the left. And there we go. This is the area right here. Number 29, my last conjunction. Okay, my goal is to get x all by itself, okay? So first of all, I'm going to bring the negative 1 out here, make it a positive 1, and move it out here, make it a positive 1. So positive 4, positive 1, positive 9, positive 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, or positive 4, positive 1 is 5. I'm left with negative 3x in the middle. Positive 9, positive 1 is positive 10. Now I'm going to divide everything by negative 3. Now students, notice my bottom number is negative. I'm dividing by a negative. So all the arrows must turn. It's pointing to the left, so now it must point to the right. Pointing to the left, it must point to the right. So these cancel. X is in the middle. 5, a positive 5 divided by a negative 3 is negative 1 2/3, or negative 1.6 repeating. A positive divided by a negative is a negative 3 1/3, or negative 3.3 repeating. There we go. Now let's graph it, okay? Here's 0, negative 1 2/3. And we can spread these out a little bit to have a little room. We'll put negative 3 1/3 right here. Now, both of the inequalities have equal signs, so we're going to close the points. X is less than negative 1 2/3. Always read your inequality starting with the variable, okay? X is less than negative 1 2/3 going this way. X is greater than negative 3 1/3. There we go. Okay, now, earlier in the video I said your arrows in a conjunction will always point to the left, and these are pointing to the right. Well, hold on. When I said that you have your smallest number here and your largest number over here. Notice this is turned around. Their largest number is here, and their smaller numbers here. That's why the arrows are pointing to the right, and that's okay. But the traditional way to write a disjunction, a conjunction, is smallest number here, larger number here, arrows pointing to the left. Okay. All right. Number 3 problems left. Number 34. Let's solve this disjunction. Well, we have an or here, so we solve this side first. X negative 1 less than 5. Simply bring the 1 over and make it a positive 1, and we have X is less than or equal to 6. That's easy enough. Now over here, bring the 3 over and make it a negative 3, and I'm left with X is greater than or equal to 7. Okay? Bring down the word or, and there's your answer. You do need to write the word or in your answer. You do. So, here we go. Here's 0. Here's 6. Here's 7. Both the points are closed because we have equal signs under both inequalities here and here. X is less than 6. Or X is greater than 7. So the answer that satisfies this disjunction, any answer over here, would satisfy this entire disjunction, or any number here would satisfy this disjunction. Okay? Number 35. Alright. We have a disjunction, so we solve one inequality first, then we solve the other one. Okay? Here we go. Bring the 4 over and make it a positive 4. X is less than 4. Easy enough. Bring the 6 over and make it a positive 6. 6, x is greater than or equal to 10. Okay? Bring down the word or. Please don't forget to do that. And there's your answer. Now let's graph it. My two critical values are 4 and 10. This is an open point here. There's no equal sign here. And this is a closed point over here. X is less than 4. X is greater than or equal to 10. There we go. Number 37. Once again, we have a disjunction. So we'll solve this one first, then this one over here, okay? M positive 1/2 less than or equal to negative 3. Well, I cannot simplify both sides. However, I do have a fraction, and I just love to get rid of fractions. That's just how I do things. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Multiply all the terms by 2 because my denominator's 2. So 2 times m is 2m. 2 times 1/2 is 1. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Okay? Now, a lot of you probably just moved the 1/2 over, made it a negative 1/2, and you were finished. And that is totally awesome. No problem with that for me. I like to get rid of fractions. Now, next, I'm going to get my variable terms on one side and my constant terms on the other. So I'm going to bring the negative 1 over here. So now I'm left with 2m less than or equal to negative 7. Okay? Now, divide by 2, divide by 2. Those cancel. And I'm left with m is less than or equal to a negative divided by a positive is negative. And 7 over 2 is the same thing as 3 1/2 or 3.5. There. Now put the word or. We're almost finished, okay? Now let's come over here. This one's a lot easier. Simply bring the 3 over and make it a positive 3. And I'm left with m is greater than, well, you have $3. You pay off a $2 debt. You're left with 1. So m is greater than 1. So there is your entire answer. So the graph would look like this. Put a 0 here. We'll put a 1 here. We'll put negative 3.5 over here. This point here would be closed because of this right here. This point here would be open. M is less than negative 3.5. M is greater than 1. So any number over here, not including 1, satisfies this disjunction. Any number out here, including negative 3.5, would satisfy this disjunction. So there we go. Okay? I hope this homework help video has been a help to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or email.